Welcome back to So This Is Thailand and Expert Advice. Now, last time we had an inventor of the gold thread lift here on the show, Mr. Ivan, and we found out all about this, I might say, revolutionary aesthetic treatment. I did promise you we would have a good doctor on here, and we actually have the #1 doctor in this treatment in the world with us in the studio today. I'd like to introduce Dr. Maha Liha, who is a specialist in aesthetic medicine and also anesthesiology and intensive care medical director of Gold Thread LLC.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Well, it was a fantastic story last time. We did promise the good viewers out there we find out more about the treatment itself and especially the results you can achieve with it. Kind of a little recap. From what we understand, you're taking very, very pure gold thread,
Yes.
putting it beneath the skin to help and remove things like wrinkles.
Yes.
How does that work? How does it happen? What's the magic?
It's really magic. You know, our gold is really pure. It's 99.99% pure gold. And you have to know how to do. How to do this. You have to know the rules. And yes, we have to put the gold just under the skin. Like a net, and build some new wall between your skin and muscle, and wait for results. When the collagen will start growing on these threads, you will see results.
Now, looking at maybe going back one step, we've looked at other types of aesthetic treatments. You know, we've looked at on the show. We've looked at fillers and Botox and things like that, which are temporary treatments. How does this gold thread work differently?
Botox. Botox fillers are also very. I like these procedures, but what is the difference? We have to put gold threads just under the skin, not into the skin, not into the muscles. You have to put it just under the skin. That's the difference, because with Botox you have to inject into the muscles. With fillers you have to inject into the skin. Our gold threads you have to put just under the skin.
And what's happening is, if I remember correctly from the last interview, is what happens is the body's natural reaction to having the gold in the body is it makes a collagen wrap around it?
Yeah, because our body is touching this gold thread, and something's good. Let's combine together. Let's do something. And in this moment, the collagen is growing on the threads, and it's growing and growing. And for us, the best patients are between 35 and 55 years old, because in this age the collagen is still growing. When we have older patients, we have some other techniques to have good results with gold threads, but you have to believe me that if you will do gold thread treatment and in good clinic with good doctor, you will see fantastic results.
Well, speaking of the results and the duration of the results, I know for things like Botox, it can be as short as 3 to 6 months. For a permanent, since this is a permanent medical treatment,
yes,
you're looking at years?
Yes, it's possible. We cannot forget about other procedures, but if we will do very good procedure, and we will do other treatments, we can have very good results even 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's true.
Now, one thing we always have to mention, and you've already actually touched upon, is looking at the safety factor. I know when Mr. Ivan was in the studio, he also talked about the intensive training, the certification, FDA approved in the US, also approved in Europe as well. Looking at the training that's required, you mentioned it has to go between the skin and the muscle, not in one or the other. Otherwise, there's complications. This must take a lot of training.
Yes, because if we will implant the gold threads into the skin, we will have side effects. After a couple of months, after 2 years, you can see lines on your face. It's not too good. But if we put these gold threads too deep, for example, into the muscles, you will never see good results, and the patient will be unhappy and come back and complain. We don't want this. Yeah, it looks like for example, it looks that this procedure is really simple. But it's not true. First of all, if we want to find a new doctor, and the most important thing for us it's to have experience in aesthetic medicine, of course. And second, yeah, we have to do some courses, you know, we have to teach him or her rules, how to do gold threads. And then, yeah, we have to find patients, and we have to do procedures, you know. It's quite hard course, you know, because, you know, if I would put signature and Mr. Ivan would put signature on the certificate, you know, it can be a problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, looking at just to put in perspective actually how difficult it is, how many doctors, I guess, experts would you say there are, not just in Asia, but in the world?
In the world with Koziczyński technique, because we are talking all the time about Koziczyński technique. It's, we have about 10 doctors only.
Very few.
Very few.
But also that you know that if it's that few, then you know that at least they are the best that there are.
Yeah, because they have to practice and practice and practice. That's you know, sometimes I have to go and look around, check the records. Is it everything okay? Because I'm medical director. That I have to take care of all these things.
Sure. Well, taking a closer look at the actual procedure itself, just to give an idea about what would you experience. Let's say I've come in, I've had my consultation, you've given me the pros and the cons and the benefits, and looked at the areas of my face and perhaps that.
Go back in 10 years.
Go back in 10 years.
I'm talking about you.
Exactly. How do they do it? I mean, do I have a general anesthesia, or is it a local or a topical?
You know, with our technique, it's enough to do regional anesthesia. That's also during the courses you have to teach future doctors how to do also regional anesthesia. That's other problem. Yeah, it's enough. It's enough to regional anesthesia usually reduce your pain in 70–80%. It's enough. It's enough to do this procedure. And also, yeah, before, of course, before, if the new patient will come, the most important thing for us, for me, for other doctors, is to do the good consultation. Consultation is very important. Sometimes it takes more than procedure. Yeah, because you have to sit down and explain everything, do some pictures. Yeah, it's quite a long time.
Now, for myself, I'm a little squeamish when it comes to needles, but looking at the needles that were developed back in the 1960s with your procedure, your equipment, what's the difference?
You know, especially our needle is 5 times smaller. You know, it's much more thinner. It's 0.4 millimeter. Thick. That's a small needle.
That's like a hair.
Yeah, like like a hair, but big hair. Okay. But yeah, it's long. Sometimes we have needles 9 centimeter long, and it's 12 centimeter long. Yeah, and sometimes when the patient will see this needle and say, "Oh my gosh!" I said, "Don't worry, we have anesthesia. Don't you know the needle is very thin." But it's good because you know, with other techniques, you know, with from older techniques, the needle was like, I remember, 2 millimeters.
Oh.
Yeah, huge needle, you know, and only 6 centimeter long. That's in this moment. If you want to do procedure from this area and finish in nasolabial line, you have to do injection inside, outside, inside, outside. 4 injections. With our techniques, you have only 1 injection.
Thank you very much for joining us today and giving us
a
little insight. I know there's probably we could fill a whole day's worth of a program talking about the procedure and everything that goes into it.
About aesthetic medicine.
Aesthetic medicine, I'm sure. And it's something which is so popular here in Thailand. I'm sure you're going to have great success here. Do go look at the website. We have it on the screen for you in case you missed it in our last interview, and hopefully we'll have the good doctor back on here. If there's any questions, please do send them in. we'd love to hear from you and find out, well, what else you'd like to know.
Okay.
Thank you very much once
Thank
again.
you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
Looking young.
Yeah.
I may be your next customer in a few years.
Maybe. Come.
Don't go away because we have a lot more coming up on So This is Thailand.